Hey everyone, if you're learning Spanish, I'm willing to bet you've run into two tiny little words that cause a whole lot of confusion. Bueno and bien. They both kind of feel like they mean good, right? But you can't just swap them. So today, we're going to clear this up once and for all, so you can start sounding way more natural when you speak.
So this is the big question, isn't it? When do you use bueno and when do you use bien? Seriously, this trips up almost everyone at the beginning. But trust me, by the end of this, you're going to have a super clear framework to get it right every single time.
Okay, so here's how we're going to do this. Let's just, for a second, forget all the grammar rules, forget words like adjective and adverb. We're just going to look at some examples first. It is so much easier to see the pattern for yourself before we try to explain it with rules. Okay, look at this. This right here is basically the entire lesson in one slide. On the left, you've got es un estudiante bueno. He is a good student. See how bueno is describing the student, the person, the noun. Now look at the right. Estudia bien. He studies well. You see the shift? Bien isn't describing the student anymore. It's describing how he studies. It's describing the action.
So now that you've seen it in action, let's put the official label on it. Bueno is an adjective, and all an adjective does is describe a thing, a person, a place, what grammar nerds call a noun. Just like in our example, un estudiante bueno. It's describing the student.
Let's look at a few more. Es un profesor bueno, a good teacher. La comida es buena. The food is good. Son estudiantes buenos. They are good students. Now here's the really important thing you've got to remember about bueno. It has to match the noun it's describing. It changes. So you'll see bueno, buena, buenos, and buenas. It's a real team player. Okay, so if bueno describes things, what does bien do? Well, bien describes actions. It's an adverb. Its whole job is to tell you how an action is being done. It focuses on the verb, the doing word. And you can see it right here. Hablo español bien. I speak Spanish well. See? Bien tells you how I speak. Ella cocina bien. She cooks well. Again, it's describing the action of cooking. And check this out. This is key. Bien never changes. It's always just bien. It doesn't care who's doing the action. It's nice and simple that way. And this brings us to what is, without a doubt, the number one most common mistake. I hear it all the time. Hablo español bueno. And it's a totally logical mistake to make. You're thinking, I speak good Spanish, so you reach for bueno. But remember, in Spanish, you have to describe the action of speaking, not the language itself. So the correct way is always going to be hablo español bien, because you're describing how you speak. You speak well. If you can just burn this one example into your brain, I promise you, you'll have solved like half of the confusion right there. All right, you've totally got the main rules down now. So let's look at the one little area that can still be a bit tricky. It's the special case of the verb estar. You know, one of the words for to be. This is where things can get a little fuzzy for people. But here's a simple little rule that will get you through 99% of the time. If you're using the verb estar, you're almost always going to use bien. It's that classic exchange, right? Someone asks, ¿Cómo estás? And you say, Estoy bien, I am well. You're describing your state of being, how you're doing right now. And this slide, this one is so important for understanding the difference. Look at this. When you say soy buena, using the verb ser, you're describing who you are as a person. It's part of your identity. I am a good person. But when you say estoy bien, you're using estar to talk about how you feel at this moment. I feel well, or I'm okay. See? One is about your identity, the other is about your condition. That's a huge difference. Okay, that's enough of me talking. The best way to really make this stuff stick is to actually use it. So let's do a super quick practice round. I'll give you a sentence with a blank, and you just decide if it needs bueno or bien. Ready? Let's do it. All right, first up, ella canta. So what are we describing here? Are we describing her as a person, or are we describing the action of singing? Okay, number 2, es una persona blank. What's being described here? Is it a thing, a noun, or is it an action? Number 3, estoy ahí. This should be an easy one. Remember our special rule for the verb estar? And the last one for today, ellos trabajan blank. Think about it. Are we saying what kind of people they are, or are we talking about how they do their work? Okay, let's see how you did. For number 1, ella canta. it's gotta be bien because we're describing the action. For number 2, es una persona, we need buena because we're describing a person, a noun. Number 3, estoy, that's our special case, so it's bien. And finally, number 4, ellos trabajan is bien because we're describing the action of working. How'd you do? I bet you did great.
All right, before we go, I want to leave you with one last thing. This is my favorite little shortcut, a mental trick you can use anytime you get stuck. It works especially well if you're an English speaker.
Here it is. Just run this little test in your head. In English, would you say a good something or would you say do something well? For example, you say a good book, so you use bueno, but you say he reads well, so you use bien. It's a fantastic little hack that works almost every single time. So if you forget everything else, just remember this. Bueno is for good, and it describes things. Bien is for well, and it describes actions. If you can keep that simple idea in your head and use that little English trick when you're not sure, you are going to be using these words perfectly. You'll sound more natural, and you'll feel way more confident. Great job today.